Okay, so what's the best self-defense? The best self-defense is never having to defend yourself physically, but sometimes even if you do everything right, you may have to. So we went over some atypical strikes. We're going to go over some more formal strikes. Probably when it comes to physical self-defense, the best way to defend yourself is to know how to fight. And you only can do that by doing it. Once COVID is over and gyms open up again, I would suggest even getting involved even for a short time in some kind of martial art that involves striking or boxing, and learning how to fight, learning how to use your arms, legs, elbows, knees to defend yourself. So these are going to be formal striking techniques. By formal, I mean they're not just like the atypical stuff. We're still going to be targeting vulnerable places, but these are just some techniques for. This is going to be all upper body. We'll have another video for lower body, for knees and kicks. Upper body. One of the things that we want to avoid is trying to hit like everybody hits using your fist. Okay, the reason is, unless you've done some conditioning with your hands, it's very easy to break a knuckle, and that takes you out of the fight. Break a knuckle, break a hand. It's also easy to, if you're not used to it, to get your wrist to flex the wrong way and tear your wrist up, again taking you out of the fight effectively. So we're going to look at some stuff where you're not going to have to use those knuckles. Real good example of this couple examples. One would be Mike Tyson back in, I think it was 1988, got in a fight on the street with a guy that he was supposed to fight in the ring. They didn't have their hand wraps, they didn't have their gloves. And Tyson hit him in the head and broke his hand. The fight had to be postponed for several months while his hand healed. And then in this class, back when I was young enough to still use the full contact suit, there was a guy in the class who was a hammer thrower. He was very strong. And one of the things I cautioned people about, mainly for my own sake, was even though I had a padded helmet, I told people if you're going to hit to the head, just do light contact. And he didn't. Somehow I ended up getting low, and he hit me at the top of the head with the padding. And with the padding, he broke his hand. So it's real easy to do, to break something, break your hand. So unless you've trained extensively with closed fist strikes, it's best to learn some different kinds of striking. So the first ones we're going to learn are open hand strikes. So we're in our stance, we've got our hands up already, right? So we're communicating, back off, leave me alone. But the guy doesn't back off. So the first thing is a palm strike. So a palm strike, I'm just coming out straight with my palm up, and I'm hitting, sometimes it's called a palm heel because I'm hitting with this part of the palm. So anytime you hit with the front, in boxing that's called a jab. If you come in with a straight punch from the rear, in boxing that's called a cross. So jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross. Okay? So the palm strike, I can hit and follow up with another hit. And anytime you're using a backhand for any kind of strike, what you want to do is turn your hips and lead with your hips, because the hips give you power. If I don't turn my hips, that's as far as I can go. If I turn my hips, I go that far, I penetrate that far. So turning the hips is real important for power. The palm strike, you can come in just straight on like that. I can come from the side and twist the head. I'm going to hold his shoulder here just so you can see. Boom. And that'll turn the head like that. Open it up for another strike. I can come up like an uppercut and hit in the chin. This is a real dangerous strike because it articulates the head back, and it's real easy to knock somebody backwards like that. Also easy to damage the neck. From the side, I can come in, palm strike the temple. You can also use palm strikes in the solar plexus or in the ribs, but my preference would be something else. Some people might have a strong palm strike, strong enough to use on the body. Mine isn't, so I would prefer using something else. So the other open hand strike is, well, there's two variations. One's called the tiger mouth, and you make a C with your hand. The other's the tiger claw, and you just kind of make that C and then extend the fingers. So one, the fingers are closed, one, the fingers are open. So tiger mouth, I'm coming in, I'm basically targeting the throat. Boom, okay? So very vulnerable there. You hit it hard enough, you can kill somebody because it'll crush the trachea, but we're just talking about boom, boom, just a pop, okay? That's going to make somebody stop in their tracks. So, like that, okay? So we're here, and we hit there, and if you do want to do a follow-up, again, you twist those hips, boom, into there, like that. Tiger claw is just more of a raking, so I can kind of come up here and rake the face, get into the eyes. It would be what I would use for grabbing and twisting and tearing, grabbing that groin. Or I could use it raking across like that, raking across the eyes. So for grabbing and twisting, tiger claw. Tiger mouth, boom, mainly into the throat. Tiger claw, you can do all kinds of things. You can also palm strike somebody and then rake down. So you kind of palm and then turn it into a tiger claw. The one close fist that we're going to do is called a hammer strike. And to make a fist, what we want to do is roll, roll, and then lock it all in with that thumb. I don't ever want to put my thumb inside my fingers. I don't want it trailing or anything. I want it locked in there, nice and tight. And what we're going to do with that hammer, if you can imagine, pretend this is a hammer. I'm holding a hammer, boom, boom. So with a hammer strike, I've still got that boom, okay, and I'm hitting with the fleshy part of my pinky side. So with a hammer strike, I can come inside like this, boom, that's called an inside because I'm coming from the outside toward the center line. I can go out like this. I can go down. I can go back. Okay, so we've got several variations. So an inside looks like this, and again, I don't want to bring it way out here. I want to use my body rotation. Boom. Okay. Outside would be a follow-up, boom, or somebody's coming to my side, and I just fling that out there like that. One other important point with any of these strikes, don't ever lock your elbow. You can hyperextend your elbow. Always keep a little bit of bend in the elbow. So inside, outside, again, it's coming to the inside, but I call it an outside because it's really going past my center line like that. This one is coming into my center line. The down strike would be, I could come down on the bridge of the nose, or if I need somebody and he's bent over, I can use it. Bob's kind of hard to bend over, but I could use it as a finishing blow. Back hammer would be somebody's behind me or grabbing me. I'm coming up, and this one I can lift as high as I want and come back like that. You can do multiple hammers. So that's a hammer strike. Okay, so those are mid-range weapons. Close-range upper body weapons are going to be our elbows. Okay, different people do them different ways. I was taught originally keep a closed fist. Another instructor I had would keep the hand open. I kind of prefer keeping the hand open because it's easier to slide it up along there. But again, with elbows, I've got inside, I've got outside, I've got uppercut elbows, I've got down elbows, I've got vertical back elbows. Okay? With the inside elbow and the outside elbow, I can go at any angle I want. It doesn't have to be horizontal. I can come in like this, or I can come up like this, so it's kind of halfway between an uppercut and an inside elbow. So elbows are about this distance when somebody's close. So let's say he grabs me. See if I can get it. One thing I can do is I can squat and just rise up with an elbow like that, follow with another elbow here, follow with an elbow here, or I could come in, out, out. That's a nice combination. Inside, outside, inside, outside, uppercut, down at an angle, coming into the solar plexus, coming into the ribs. If I'm turned back here, I can do an outside elbow to the head, boom, boom. I can go to his ribs, come up and come back like that. So those are close-in weapons. Elbows are close weapons. Palm strikes, tiger mouth, hammer, that's mid-range. Long range we're going to look at in a different video, and that is kicking. Knee strikes are actually close range also, but we'll include those in the kicking video. Okay, practice this stuff, and we'll see you at the next video.